Multiple Ukrainian Telegram channels are now reporting that there is a critical situation ongoing in Pokrovsk. Most are now asking to withdraw, with some complaining that civilians are helping the Russians, if you can believe it. Pokrovsk is useless to us. It's basically full of separatists. I was there long before the war. Everyone speaks Russian and kisses Putin's icon. It's a pity our guys are dying there. Nothing good or positive in Pokrovsk. Not going well. Since the Russian offensive began in October 2023, after the Ukrainian counteroffensive in Donbass, we are kind of right now in one of the biggest battles of that offensive since this all began. And that is the Battle of Pokrovsk. And I say we're in the middle of it, but actually we're pretty much at the tail end of it, okay? Because as we speak, I believe Ukrainians are probably withdrawing, probably fleeing. Some are being forced to say, I would assume, in Pokrovsk. But this is a very big battle, and it is a major city, and it is an important road junction. If the Russians fully capture Pokrovsk, which it looks like they're about to, it may be delayed a little bit, which we're going to discuss as to why they might be delaying this on purpose, by the way. I doubt it'll happen, but it's an interesting proposal that was given by the Russians to delay the complete capture of Pokrovsk. But after this takes place, you will have the ability for the Russians to move further west towards the Dnieper and further north to the other cities that have yet to be captured in the north of Donbass, okay? So this could be over in a very short period of time, this battle for Pokrovsk. Multiple Ukrainian Telegram channels are now reporting that there is a critical situation ongoing in Pokrovsk. Most are now asking to withdraw, with some complaining that civilians are helping the Russians, if you can believe it. If you can believe it, the civilians are helping the Russians. This is what Telegram channels are saying now from the Ukrainians. Pokrovsk, ... Pokrovsk is useless to us. It's basically full of separatists. I was there long before the war. Everyone speaks Russian and kisses Putin's icon. It's a pity our guys are dying there. Nothing good or positive in Pokrovsk or Mirnograd. That's all for me. Mirnograd is a small subsection of Pokrovsk, technically its own little city, town, but this is not going well, okay? So this is the situation on the front for those Ukrainians who are in Pokrovsk or reporting back from Pokrovsk. Everyone is saying it is going poorly. The Russians are encircling, and the civilians are aiding and assisting the Russians, okay? Now, Zelensky is saying the exact opposite. Zelensky is saying there's no encirclement of Ukrainian troops near Pokrovsk or Kupiansk. Everything is under control. The armed forces of Ukraine are methodically destroying the enemy. Now, if that was true, I would just ask you why this happened today. Putin had a meeting with some of the soldiers of a certain battalion. I don't remember the name. My mistake. In this meeting, he discussed the Budovesnik. He discussed the Poseidon. He discussed a myriad of issues relating to the front. But the most interesting part of this whole meeting and kind of press briefing was this part right here. As Pokrovsk is fully encircled by Russians, President Putin proposed temporarily suspending military operations in Kupiansk and Pokrovsk to allow foreign journalists in and prove the encirclement to the Ukrainian armed forces. This move will prevent Ukrainian soldiers from harming civilians who they are saying are assisting the Russians. They're calling them separatists. They're calling them treasonous. Okay, so this will prevent anything bad from happening to them, as they always do when they lose settlements. Okay, I actually think this is an ingenious move by President Putin. He's saying, look, we've encircled the town. We don't want anything bad to happen. We want this to happen as peacefully as possible, and we don't want civilians to be hurt. Okay, so we know the Ukrainians are going to withdraw. We know they're probably going to do what they always do. So why don't we make the situation much safer and say, we'll stop our operations on the outskirts of Pokrovsk, and as we're moving into these positions, we'll stop, and we will allow foreign journalists to come in. If you want to come in from the US, from the UK, from France, from Germany, whatever, okay, you can come in and you can see what's happening. You can see that if anything bad happens to civilians, it's not us. It's not the Russians. extension of that logic, I'm invite in international, humanitarian observers, whatever it needs to be. I think this is a very interesting proposal, very interesting move by the Russian president. And as you can probably imagine, none of the Western media outlets have offered to take Russia up on this deal yet. But I guess it's a possibility. We'll see. Also, our good friend Squatsons on Twitter is posting that the situation in Lyman is in extreme trouble. This is developing very fast. Both the previous times that this was taken, it also fell very fast. So Russian forces have made additional advances in the forestry east of Lyman. Fighting is now reported in the southern quarter of the city in the purple, as you can see there. So situation is not going well for the Ukrainians. The question then becomes, what is left after Pokrovsk? What is left after Mirnograd? What is left after Kupiansk? Well, what is left is, by all accounts, even according to President Donald Trump, about 18 to 19% of the Donbass, okay? And there's three big cities. You have Kramatorsk, you have Slavyansk, and you have Slavyansk, very historically important city to those who were participating back in 2014 in the separatist movement, the independence movement. And you have Kramatorsk, you have Slavyansk, and you have Konstantinovka. Now, there's already fighting going on in Konstantinovka. So now one of the three major cities is already, in the process, if you will. That leaves Slavyansk. That leaves Kramatorsk. Kramatorsk being it is going to be, everyone knows it's going to be the biggest of all. It's the most dug in. It's the most well-fortified city in the Donbass for the Ukrainians. And the Russians right now are tightening their positions in the north. And they're moving also from, obviously, here from what we just discussed in Pokrovsk and Kupiansk, okay? Now, prevailing military logic would tell anyone that at this point, you've got 18 to 19% left. A lot of your supply lines are cut off. Your battalions, your brigades are not at the level they need to be sent out on the front to fight. You have very little in terms of air defense missiles being supplied now by the West. There is a real fatigue about the support for Ukraine all across the world. The Russians, on the other hand, flipped the script on all of that. They are doing very well economically, politically, diplomatically, militarily. Prevailing logic would say, if you're Ukraine, let's save our men, let's secure peace, let's withdraw. That's what a wise person would do. I also say that's what a wise person would do because the Ukrainians right now, they still have 18 to 19% of maybe 17% of the Donbass. So if you're the Ukrainian leader, if you're Zelensky, and you see that the Russians are encroaching on one of the three major cities that are left, they're about to take Pokrovsk, wouldn't you say, okay, well, let's negotiate with what we have? Because tomorrow it may no longer be in our hands. In fact, this has been the sentiment in the negotiations up until this point, also involving the Trump administration, is, hey, President Putin, you don't have all the Donbass yet. The cards are not entirely in your hands. Maybe you have 99.9999% of the cards, but you don't have everything yet. So let's negotiate. And Zelensky constantly says, no, we will not accept these terms. We will not freeze the front line. We will not do this. We will not surrender. Okay, but you see where this is going, right? So if you understand that they're going to take this, why not save lives, save money, save time, and negotiate a peace settlement today while you still have Kramatorsk and Slavyansk and you have Konstantinovka to a certain degree? Why would you not do that? I cannot answer that question. No one in the Trump administration can seemingly answer that question. Russia, I don't even think they begin to even care about answering this question anymore. I mean, it's already known that this is the stance of the Ukrainians, and it will be the stance of the Ukrainians for the foreseeable future. But I just want to explain to all of you how stupid this is to not negotiate a peace right now when they still have these cities in their control. Okay? Logic would tell you that it's probably best to use your leverage while you still have it, but they seem intent on losing all leverage and then being forced into a position where they will be, in a corner negotiating, and it's just not smart. Just not smart. Just not a Christian thing to do, to allow all these people to die, force these people to die when it doesn't need to happen.